The big debate going on right now, aside from should Yasiel Puig have been voted into the All-Star game, obviously he was not. Freddie Freeman of the Atlanta Braves was voted in. But now the question is, are we starting to hate Yasiel Puig? Miguel Montero had this to say: if he's my teammate, I probably try to teach him how to behave in the big leagues. He's creating a bad reputation around the league, and it's unfortunate because the talent that he has is to be one of the greatest players in the big leagues. And then Ian Kennedy called him arrogant. Yasiel Puig fired back and said, that's my game. I'm going to play my baseball the way I play. We don't like the way Parra plays or the way Montero plays, but we don't go to the press or anybody and talk about how we don't like it because we're more reserved. I always like to play aggressive and always try to put on a show for the fans. They, as in the fans, come to spend their time and lose sleep watching us play. It is one, to me, of the more emotional things in baseball. Your reaction?
Judgment for Puig.
Yeah?
Yeah. Like, I'm sure he's arrogant. And there's the Luis Gonzalez story, too. Luis Gonzalez's family came over from Cuba, and so Luis Gonzalez, before the Diamondbacks-Dodgers game,
batting practice.
While Puig was taking BP, comes up to him and starts talking to him, telling the story, and apparently Puig barely made eye contact with him and was dismissive.
Yep.
And Mark McGwire lit into Puig for showing disrespect.
Well, he was like, hey, you know, Luis Gonzalez, he had the big hit in the World Series off of Rivera.
He got a base hit off Mariano Rivera. The only time in the history of the world that America rooted for the Yankees, because that was 2001.
I did not root for the Yankees.
I couldn't help it. I hated every second of it, but I couldn't help it. And then, of course, that year they don't win.
Yeah.
Freaking
the 1 year you root for.
Right, like that wasn't about me.
Okay.
Like, I get it. You should be respectful to your elders, and Luis Gonzalez came first, took a lot of steroids at 57, alleged maybe, I don't know. Just randomly, guy suddenly hit 57 home runs. Could have happened authentically. You know what, I don't know. I don't know. But Luis Gonzalez is an incredibly well-liked guy and by everybody who ever played with him, and so you should show a little respect to him, but who cares? Like,
what, if you don't respect Luis Gonzalez, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, one thing that is a little appealing is that, you know, baseball in the 1970s, and its heyday in the 1970s, when sort of there was as much talent as had ever been in the game, when it wasn't losing great athletes to basketball and football, there were real rivalries, and players didn't joke around at batting practice all the time beforehand, and they weren't always chatting at first base.
And hugging each other.
Right, which I don't mind. I like when I see them talking at first base. I talked to everybody when I was a first baseman. It was one of the great thrills of playing first base, as you get to talk to the other team. But like, so Puig doesn't do any of that. That's great. That's fine. And Montero and Ian Kennedy, mostly Montero, you know, baseball has this dumb, stupid disrespect culture. Baseball is made up of a bunch of like 13-year-old kids who are constantly, you know, sort of going to war over respect. Like, who gives a shit? You don't need.
You're saying there's a war on respect?
I'm saying that you hear it all the time with young kids and violent kids, and they're like, that kid disrespected me. So they'll step two, right? Ugh. Like, no one cares whether you're respected, right? Respect yourself, that's it. And, I mean, there are
except for Dwight Howard.
There are serious forms of disrespect in this world, and you should do something about those. Whether another kid didn't look at you is not a form of respect. And whether Yasiel Puig as a rookie shows enough respect to others. We heard it from Jonathan Papelbon too, talking about how Puig hasn't earned his way onto the All-Star team because he hasn't paid his dues. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. And so he plays differently, and he hit Montero hard. You're going to block the plate, you're going to get hit hard.
Exactly.
That's all, you know? And Montero did this, by the way. Montero did a Dikembe
Mutumbo finger wag. Yeah.
Well, that's disrespectful to the Dodgers. But I don't care about that either. I mean, that's fine.
But you're okay. Yeah, you're okay with both sides. You're okay with Puig barreling him over, trying to get a run, and you're okay with Montero adding a little more to a.
I don't think, and I didn't study the play enough, but I mean, as I recall.
Clearly you did. I mean, you know what happened.
I saw it, but I don't remember how far away it was. Like, I don't like guys hitting them when like it's over, like you're out. Like, don't barrel into them when there's no. The barreling has to happen if the ball is arriving vaguely simultaneous. If they have the ball,
I mean, it was somewhat of a close play. I mean, he didn't have to barrel him over, but he was trying to get a run, and that's fine. I like the way he plays. I'd like him on my team, obviously.
Totally, and but it does seem that, you know, it's interesting. Like, you want to hear, there was a Mark Ellis today issued a statement that was. I read this from Buster Olney at ESPN. Mark Ellis said that there's no problem in the Dodger clubhouse with Puig, in the same way that David Ortiz was talking about how there wasn't a problem in the Red Sox clubhouse last year when there was a serious problem in the Red Sox clubhouse. So I'm curious whether his teammates hate him.
Yeah.
And if they do, is it legitimate, or is it because, hey, he's a rookie and he hasn't paid his dues? I mean, the NFL does that rookie hazing, but that lasts in training camp, and then that's it. Like the NFL doesn't. You don't hear about
Unless you're Prince Amukamara.
Nobody's going around saying Robert Griffin shouldn't have,
Been to the Pro Bowl or anything.
or like, yeah, Robert Griffin doesn't show enough respect to the veterans on the team. Like the NFL gets it, man. Once you're there, let's
Isn't
go.
that different though because he's the quarterback of that team?
I don't remember hearing it with anybody in the NFL. That's not a thing you hear about rookies not knowing their place. Like they get the shit abused out of them, which is silly, by the way, in training camp, right? But that's okay. Then once the season starts,
yeah, then it's over. I understand that, but
baseball should embrace that.
for some reason, I feel like there's a difference between Robert Griffin being the quarterback of the
maybe
team
yeah.
and Puig just being the right fielder.
The best player. The best
player, but a right fielder.
No, I mean there is no equivalent to the quarterback in baseball. But
Right. The one thing that we just learned about him, this is the conclusion that I've drawn, is that he just wants to play, he plays with his head down, and he just kind of doesn't give a shit who he offends. He just wants to be successful, and he wants to play well, and he wants to help his team. I mean, is that such a bad thing?
Yeah, no, it's not a bad thing. I mean, you don't want to be there's a balance between playing hard and playing to win and playing a certain style and not socializing, and somehow perhaps we'll see going forward if this is an issue.